Hello, everyone. If you're like me, you may have often wondered, why doesn't TV show more abortions? And if you're remarkably like me, you've spent the last 6 years trying to answer this question. The truth is that while recent depictions are certainly raising the bar, abortions have been happening on screen for over 100 years, since some of the earliest silent films in 1916. Along with my colleagues in the Abortion on Screen program at the University of California in San Francisco, I have tracked 345 abortions in pop culture, including 205 on American television. These stories are important because while most people know someone who has had an abortion, because of stigma and silence, they don't often know that they know someone who's had an abortion. Because people who have abortions do not often publicly share their experiences, the narratives of fictional characters become especially important in shaping our understandings. This doesn't mean that we expect or even want TV to be rigidly realistic all the time. But it does mean that TV has a profound impact, and it's worth examining what type of stories about abortion it tells. The content and themes of TV shows have changed over time, and so have the abortions. The 60s, 70s, and 80s brought us medical and legal dramas, focusing on the professional lives of doctors, detectives, and lawyers who might, for example, investigate an abortion clinic bombing or care for a patient who's considering an abortion without actually providing one. These stories aggressively tried to present both sides and focused more about what people thought about abortion as a political issue rather than the experience of the person deciding on or obtaining the abortion. In the 1990s, we saw more stories about women actually making decisions about their pregnancies, though this was also the era of false pregnancies, convenient miscarriages, and last-minute changes of heart right before getting the abortion. These stories introduced a discussion about abortion while ultimately averting it. Beginning in the early 2000s, we more consistently see characters choosing abortion. These shows focus primarily on the woman's fraught decision-making process, and the characters obtaining abortions were disproportionately young white women who often faced few or no barriers to access and were unlikely to be parenting while making a decision about getting an abortion. While these stories focus more directly on the women making the decision, they did not reflect the aggregate nuanced reality of abortion in the United States. What we have seen in the past few years, though, is really beginning to change the game. We've seen more women of color getting abortions. We've seen more shows depicting the actual abortion procedure, giving audiences a chance to see that abortion is both simple and safe. And after 3 decades of abortion appearing almost exclusively on dramas, we've also seen a resurgence of abortion stories on comedies. They bring us stories in a range from heartfelt and wry humor to over-the-top flippancy and satire. Most importantly, these recent stories focus not on a dramatic process of decision-making, but on the personal experience of accessing care, seeking and finding support, and finding out what an abortion means for that character's relationships, ambitions, and future. Looking ahead, television can continue to find ways to break down stigma, either reflecting a more diverse range of stories, depicting realistic and safe care, or sharing stories that encourage support and compassion for someone having an abortion. Viewers can learn from characters that they love who have abortions how to support the people they love in their real lives who have abortions. But TV can and should go beyond portraying our best, safest, most diverse reality. Fiction offers us the opportunity to imagine what abortion care might and could look like and give us a vision forward. Thank you.